the topic this week is pivot points. So the idea on this is we're going to be pinning our weight in a specific location and then rotating around that point. So in this case, if I'm in a knee on belly and I decide I want to go over to the other side, I take my knee and I pin it to his hip, and then I rotate around that knee to get my foot to the other side. I can also pin it on his shoulder and rotate out. And so this is actually a good warm-up where we can move from position to position by pivoting around, and we can go any direction depending on where our partner is. If I want to go back over, I can pin my hands on the shoulders and move my feet around. All right, now is a pivot points flow. So if I start out in the hooks guard, I need to clear these feet so I can press down with my knee and pick my foot up and go around. If I try to just pick it up, he's going to follow, right? So I need to keep him in place while I rotate my foot. Now I can come to the other leg, do the same thing, pin, rotate. Now this knee comes to this hip, pin, come down his hip, back step. And come from here, I can get my foot under my butt. I can pin his elbow if I need to really keep him in place. And then I can step over and rotate my body. In this case, my pivot point is actually my pelvis. Just rotate around to here. Now, I can come up into an S mount. A lot of times people struggle getting this foot around. What I need to do is use my butt bone, my sit bone, as my pivot point. I actually sit on my partner, and now I can rotate around into this S mount. If he pushes me down onto his hips and then does an arch, I can pivot, that same thing we did in the warm-up, to knee on belly. Now usually they'll bring their elbows in. This is a really convenient place to just scoop with the knee. And now we're going to windshield wiper pivot. So I'm pivoting off my knees. My leg side foot goes first. Once my foot is over his arm, then my other one can leave. Now the best pivot point in this series, I'm going to come up, and my pivot point is around my forearm contact with his rib. So even if he's Homer Simpson running around, so he's moving all about, no matter where he goes, as long as I have this contact, I know that my foot needs to land right under that pivot point. And so that's what allows me to be able to do a quick spinning arm bar without worrying about kicking my partner in the head. Versus if I just think, oh, I'm going to step right here, and he's moving all around and starts moving his feet and like spinning his head, I might land super weird because I landed where he used to be instead of where he is now. So by using this point of contact, I can spin very quickly into that arm bar. So from here, same series again from a different angle. He has his hooks guards. I pin with my knee, with my foot over. Come another foot. And my hands are also pinning at this point. Pin with my knee, come over. Now this knee is going to come in. I'm blocking his hip, and I'm hugging this way, back step. Now I can come down towards his hips a little bit, bring this foot over. I'm pivoting on my pelvis, and in to mount. And if I want to drive up to an S mount, this side so you can see, my knee comes up to the head. Now my leg is going to be all weird if I don't pivot around my sit bone. And curl this under. But now he pushes my hips back down, wiggles, and now he's going to do an arch, and I'm going to switch to my knee on belly. This knee can come in. Even if he's bringing his elbows tight, I can usually scoop here. And then my knees are going to windshield wiper. So I can go back and forth if I need to. Always plant the second foot over the elbow before you move the first foot. And then here, arm up. And I'm going to just pivot around this point. I'm actually leaning my weight onto his ribs. This helps keep him under control and makes it easier for me to spin around that pivot point for my arm bar. All right, so as a part of the other flow, when we hit that point when our partner gets to mount, once we are comfortable with the flow, now our partner is going to do some resisting. So here I'm going to do my knee elbow escape, which you guys should all know. If not, talk to your instructor. As I create space and bring my knee up through, now I'm going to use my knee as an upward pivot point. And I'm pressing into him so that I can create space for my foot. If I try to just pull my leg through, I can't, right? There's not enough space for me to get even my stubby little legs through. But if I press with my knee, there's a ton of space for me to circle around. From here, if I wanted to, I could also do the same move to get to full guard, but we're gonna practice our half guard. So if he's crowding my elbow so that I can't get the underhook, I can start moving my hips so I can get a strong pivot point with my elbow on his shoulder. I'm creating this space here for my hand to come through. If I create the space and I don't pivot around my elbow and I try to pull my arm back, he's just going to close it. So I've created that space, pivot through, come up, grab the armpit. Now I'm going to rotate my hips out. I can take my seatbelt grip. This foot comes over and I'm hooking on the hip, and I can press him flat with my hips.